Joker issue 9, which did come out this week. And last issue ended with female Bane, or Lady Bane, who's officially getting called Vengeance now as a name. She said, "Hey, you can't pull the trigger, Gordon, so let me be your instrument. You help me with your smarts and your feelings, and I will be the one who kills the Joker." So they're on their way to a place where she's tracked him down to. And there's a lot of monologuing, internally from Gordon about his past with Joker, about going down this dark path, like being tempted to pull out the phone that he was given by Barbara to like call her. There's some stuff with Barbara separately, with Julia investigating Santa Prisca, and the military contacts that might have been involved in creating Bane, and even selling the weapon to Joker that helped kill Jason. The bomb. So what's actually really funny about this is that there's actually a lot of like referencing of old stories, because when she's talking about her past with Joker, she references Killing Joke, and she also references Cataclysm. Gordon does, because Gordon's thinking about his daughter, and then he's thinking about Sarah Essen being killed in Cataclysm. If you don't remember that, but that was his second wife, big deal.
Which one was Cataclysm? Was that the post No Man's Land?
No, pre. That was the earthquake itself.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it references these, and then it references death in the family, with the connection to like someone sold Joker because they find a file that says something like sold a supervillain in America a missile, and it's like shit. Like that rings a bell. So basically they're at this place, this big mansion, Vengeance and Gordon, and they go in, and there's a bunch of dead henchmen lying around, and Joker's sitting at a table with a dude. And this guy turns out to be this like hotshot scientist who's part of the Network, this secret organization that does all these safe houses for villains and things. And this is the one that actually made Vengeance, and he turns her down. He's got like a code word, kind of like River and Serenity, which was obviously from the same creators that had television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Man, that's a reference that hasn't been made in a while.
It's been a while, yeah. So she just kind of goes to sleep, and he kind of says, "Okay, that's only going to work once. She'll be back up in like 5 minutes." So, and Joker's sitting. This is the first time Joker's been face to face with Gordon in a few issues. It's only happened once, really, at the end of like issue 3 or whatever it was. But we get a lot of the stuff here. The scientist explains a bunch of things. Talks about like he's willing to just like sort of tell him everything that's going on, because he's so important, and he's like he's had like dinner with like princes and presidents and like from every country in the world. Like he's so ingrained, like, and he knows so much stuff that if he ever is taken in by any authorities, like they'll find a way to kill him as quickly as possible so that he can't tell anyone anything. So he's got nothing to really bother like holding back when he's like telling stuff. So they go down to the secret lab, and basically what he's been doing is that he has designed a way to clone like people, and specifically villains, and it's a way for them to cheat death or get out of prison. The idea being that he'll create a clone that will instantly die, so that they can swap out like someone who's in like say a prison with a clone of them that's dead, so that the authorities think they're dead, which feels like it's going to be a way to explain a death or two down the line.
Yeah.
There's a few dead villains right now that maybe they're going to explain by having like a dead clone in there. So they go down to this lab, and there's all these test tubes with like half like deformed clones in it, and like various bodies of just like being around. So it's this high service, and Gordon's like, "Why are you telling me this?" Because I have no reason to lie. There's no point. It talks about how much of a big shot he is, but and Joker's like hot dogging around as he does. It turns out that because of whatever happened to the Joker when he was turned into the Joker, and when his skin was changed and he fell into the vat of chemicals, it basically changed him enough that he is impossible to clone. But this guy has been trying, and we get basically a room of test tubes of Jokers, and it's like It's like that scene in Alien Resurrection when Ripley finds all the failed attempts to clone
That's what
Ripley.
I was going to ask. Does it feel like Alien Resurrection, which might be the only time that's been asked?
It's kind of like that. It's a little bit like that. And Garn's like freaking out, like, you were trying to make a clone of yourself? And Joker's like, hey, I could start an improv team. We could start a podcast. Like, more of me is a great idea. But he's like, nah, it's not me. I didn't do this. I didn't want this. They did. So, the scientist, like, it was just a challenge because it seemed impossible. Like, I had to try and crack it. And Gordon's like, but who wanted another one of him? Like, why would there be a desire for more of Joker? Like, this is insane. And Gordon's like holding a gun to his head, and he's like, you know, there's like close up panels on the gun and his finger on the trigger. Like, he really is thinking about doing it. And this is not a Joker. This is a scientist. Like, he's so like horrified by the idea that someone might want to kill him or want to clone the Joker. Sorry, that like he can't even. But he's like, yeah, like, you know what? This is, and so he explains the idea is that the network, right, who all the villains have ties to, that they go to be hidden and things. Like, this network wants even more control. So the idea that they could replace the supervillains with their own versions that they can control because they designed them, because he calls them designer supervillains, is super tempting. Like, we could like wreak chaos. We could test out villains by sending them to Gotham, because Gotham's got so many villains that it's kind of a playground, like, to just go test different villains against Batman. And it's like, this is like the fairiest shit. The idea of like taking Joker and turning him criminal. Like, the one good thing you can say about Joker is that he is himself. He is the Joker. Mm-hmm. He is truly unique, and he is his own monster, and he is his own free spirit, if you will. But they want to turn him into their own Big Mac version of the Joker, where they can control the Joker and basically use his chaos as a tool to create anarchy only when they want anarchy to happen, so they can drive and influence certain decisions.
That's not, that's not how chaos works. You don't get to control chaos. Right?
Yeah,
like,
but that's what they're trying. That's the
no, I know. But I just, like, even Alexander Luthor knew you can't do that, which is why he left Joker out of the Infinite Crisis plans. You know? Like, Joker does not play well with others.
But as they're having this conversation, the woman from the Texas Chainsaw family who's been hunting Joker throws a knife. She shows up. She throws a knife at the scientist in the neck, stabs him to shit, so he dies. The big guy from the family sort of has Joker by the throat and injects him with some stuff. I think it's just to knock him out more than anything. And then she throws a throwing dagger at Gordon. So he's got a dagger in his chest, and he passes out as these two are taking Joker away. In fact, one of the things they mentioned during the issue as well, actually, is that there's a lot of rich people who have developed a taste for human flesh. There's a lot of cannibals in high society. Oh, so part of what this scientist does is, because he can clone people, is he basically just makes human meat that they can sell like, there's like secret items on like really posh restaurants. If you want human meat, you can get it.
It's like the opposite of Beyond Meat, right? Like,
but the reason why I thought of that there is because as they're leaving, the daughter from the Texas Chainsaw family says, yeah, you know, my daddy always said we could taste the difference with your like produced like human meat. Like, you couldn't taste the fear of the person who died. You have to hunt the people to get the good taste.
Like, Tynan, buddy, where's this coming from, dude?
Yeah, that's when like super like mad scientist horror movie stuff. This issue, it was really quite interesting.
Every issue you talk about and I'm listening to makes me want to read this book more, because it seems like it's getting better. Like, the first two didn't seem like that, but now we have the Lady Bane clone that's basically X-23, and we got cannibals on eating cloned human meat. It's like, this is a Bat book. This makes no sense, and I love it.
And Gordon sort of passes out, but he wakes up when Vengeance Lady Bane comes in, and he's like, "Where is he? Where is he?" Like, she's pissed.
Just basically Christian Bale's Batman now.
Yeah, and she's like, "Sorry, Gordon, I didn't want you to die," and she leaves him for dead because he's got the dagger sticking out of him. So Gordon gets his phone out. He's able to tap and call Oracle, and Oracle is basically just doesn't realize that he's in pain and just starts saying, you know, "Dad, is that you? I'm glad we did some blood tests, blah blah." And she doesn't realize that he's lying there with the phone, kind of like, so the last panel is the phone kind of coming out of his hand as if, obviously he's not dead, but they're kind of teasing us that he could be dead. And that's the end of the issue. But the big reveal on the last page, though, is when it cuts back to Oracle, the blood she tested, what she's talking about on the phone, whoever's attacking them, like, this is personal. They're trying to push their buttons. But remember, it was an issue or two ago, a Talon attacked Barbara in the clock tower.
Yeah.
She did some tests on the blood that was left behind, and she knows who that corpse is. Would you care to guess who the dead person is that the Talon might be?
It's not Gordon, is it?
What do you mean?
Like, they didn't clone Gordon and then...
No, it's not clone. It's someone who did die. It is
okay.
Someone who died.
Oh. I would need a full list because I can't remember who all died. Because I remember it was Bane and Man-Bat, which those two have come up in Task Force Z.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember who else died. Just give it to me.
James Gordon Jr.
It's JJ.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is like specific to them. They're coming. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff in this issue. The mythology of this book and this network and all the shady shit they're up to is kind of insane. Kind of digging it. Different artist on this issue as well, which was a pleasant surprise. Now, I don't think the art's great, but it's better than March.
It's not March.
It's not March. Yeah.
I feel like that's a Mild Fuzz exclusive rating. There's March or not March. If you're not March, that's pretty good.
Yeah. So Stefano Raphael's the artist on this book, and I do feel it's a little flat at times, but I mean I'll take that over the scratchiness and extra over the top line work of March. So it is what it is. But yeah, story wise though, I kind of want to stretch this to the 8. I kind of loved the mad science stuff of this issue. I was kind of into it. I do have to mention the backup. I won't say much about it, but the girl that got out of prison last issue, who was friends with Punchline in high school, basically talks about how back in high school she had a yearbook and she had circled a lot of like faces, and a lot of people, all the people she circled other than herself, has turned up dead recently through the various stuff that's going on. Good. So she's scared to testify, but they don't have the yearbook anymore because it burned in the fire that happened several issues ago. So they're trying to get her to testify, but she's too nervous to. And then the final thing is that Punchline has got Orca on a hospital bed in the prison and is like injecting her with something, knowing that she betrayed her, and so it's kind of menacing and just this kind of villainous ending. But I mean the backup's okay. It's whatever. Like I get through it. It's like 8 pages. I don't feel much for it. Like I think the entire story would probably work as better as like an annual size one shot that it does as the however many 8-page chapters we're getting. But it is what it is. So backup's like I don't know, like a 6 or something like that. Nothing terrible, but nothing great either.